All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-through for a special Beat Everybody week. We're about ready to beat LaSalle in soccer tonight. We got to beat Mason on Friday night in football. And I think our boys water polo team might be beating some people this week too. So beat everybody. All right, this is the final section of solving quadratics. This is the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is a tool that you use to solve equations involving x squared or something squared. This is going to be your third tool, so just give me a second. The quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus or minus big square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? You might want to jot that down on the top of your worksheet right now. Okay? I'll pause the video while you guys do. Okay, so we've got a quiz on this stuff coming up, and I just want everyone to feel confident on their quiz. That's my most important goal. And so we're going to solve this one 3 different ways. Okay? And then from here on out, you guys can pick which way you want to do these. Okay, it's literally your choice. You might find that there's some ways that work better in some instances. Meg, would you mind turning the light off? Okay, so look, this question they have already put in the quadratic formula for you. We've just got to practice putting this in our calculator. What's minus a minus? That's a positive, okay? So we just write 4. Now, there's no plus or minus button in your calculator. So you got to learn how to use it. So we're going to start with plus, and then square root of is underneath that one. Square root of. You need to type -4 in parentheses, and then square it out of your parentheses. Minus 4 times 1 times 3. Okay? My suggestion is hit enter, then do divided by 2 times 1, and that's your first answer. Okay? Now, here's how you can save yourself some time. Scroll up, hit enter. It'll copy itself. So I scrolled up and I hit enter. Now, scroll left and change this plus to a what? Exactly. Do minus and not negative. Oh no. Delete. Enter. Okay, now we have to divide that by 2 times 1. And our other answer is -12. I think, isn't it? Oh no. What happened to my square root sign? It disappeared. Okay, here, let me try this again. Enter. I have no idea how that happened. I must have just copied the wrong one. Change this to a minus. Enter. There we go. And 2 divided by 2 times 1 is 1. Thank you, Alex. So our answer is 3 or 1. Now, what's another way we could solve this equation? Well, we got x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals 0. I hope that when you saw that, you would check to see if it's factorable. We're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be 3 and add to be -4. Anyone know what they are? Uh-oh. X minus 3 times x minus 1, right? So then x equals what? 3 or 1. Do you see how to do it that way? Everybody see how to do it that way? Okay? Well, it's not always factorable, but if it's not factorable, you could have completed the square. You just didn't need to complete the square in that one. Okay? Here's another way we could do it. Go back to your calculator. Y equals x squared. Hold on, sorry, clear. X squared minus 4x plus 3. Enter. Graph it. Now, that's not a very good window, so I'm going to do my zoom 6. That's better. Now I do my little water bug feature. Second, trace. I want my zeros. That's a good spot. Hit enter. Scroll right. Get down below it. Hit enter. Would you like for me to take a guess? Yes. Boom. It says 1. That's what we wanted. Okay? Do it again. Second, trace. 0. Hit enter. Scroll above the line. Hit enter. Would you like for me to take a guess? Yes. X equals 3. Do you see the 3 ways that you can do these? It's completely up to you. For the rest of this video, I'm going to use the quadratic formula because that's what I'm teaching you today. But I'm telling you that on your quiz, you should focus on understanding what the directions tell you and getting the answer right. Okay? Understand the directions, but get the question right. Okay, here we go. So now, I think we're going on to number 4 next. The difference between number 4 and the previous questions is now it's not in standard form. So we need to rewrite it as x squared plus 3x minus 3 equals 0. Okay? Here, A equals 1, B equals 3, and C equals minus 3. Our quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus or minus big square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So x equals minus 3 plus or minus big square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 3, all over 2 times 1. Now I just pop that in my calculator. I'm just going to clear it. Minus 3 plus square root parentheses 3 squared minus 4 times times 1 times negative 3. Okay, divide by 2. You get 0.7913. Now go back to your calculator, scroll up, hit enter, scroll left, change that to a minus, hit enter, and now we still have to divide it by 2, and you get negative 3.7913. In here, if it's positive, you don't need to, but if it's negative, you do need to. And then, so that's why I'm getting in the habit of putting that in parentheses. All right, good. What I've just heard from 2 of you is I'm doing this a different way, and I got a different answer. Just so you know, there's only one right answer. So either I'm wrong or you're wrong. And I will tell you, I did this question wrong earlier. So I happen to know that now I'm right, because I got the same answer when I fixed it earlier. Okay? So I will take a look at what you're doing, and that's what the next 2 days are for. Preparing ourselves for how am I going to do this on the quiz? How do I want to do these problems? Okay? All right, next. All right, so your school is selling yearbooks. They need $1,000 of profit. Yeah, I can hear the groans, okay? Hopefully you're not groaning about yearbooks, because there's nothing wrong with the yearbooks. But hopefully you're just groaning about word problems. Well, that's why we're in the situation that we're in, because for most of your life, you've skipped these, or your teachers haven't even assigned them to you. And that's the whole problem, because this math on its own is totally useless. Okay? You're only learning high-level math so that you can apply it to things that may be useful someday, like this situation. So, you start out by putting 1,000 in for your profit. You want 1,000 in profit. This is your profit equation. So you just took the 1,000 and you put it in for P. Now, what happened between this step and this step is they just wrote it in standard form for you. Okay? So what is A in this question? A is 2. B is negative 70. And C is 480. I would have divided all that by 2, but that's okay. I'm not going to. So you get minus B. Minus a negative 70 is positive 70. Plus or minus, big square root of. Here's where I need the minus in parentheses. Negative 70 squared minus 4 times 2 times 480 all over 2 times 2, which is 4 on the bottom. So now we come back to our calculator. 70 plus square root of negative 70 squared minus 4 times 2 times 480. Enter. Divide by 4. 25.64. So what's it asking for? What's the smallest amount the school can charge for a yearbook? $25.64. Or we have another answer. Go back to this. Go back to this. Hit enter. Scroll left. Change this to a minus. Hit enter. Well, this is for this problem. It's involving prices, so we went to cents because we can't go to half of a cent. And other answers, I'd like for you to go to 4 decimal places. Okay? So this is a weird question, but your real answer is this, because it's what's the least amount of money you could charge to make $1,000. Okay, Katie? I did forget to divide by 4. Thank you. Hold on. This changes everything. Back to this. Divide by 4. $9.36. That's more like it. So that, if you put in 935 or 936 for this, it's going to give you 1,000. So sorry, this. And that's a cheap yearbook. I wouldn't expect a whole lot out of that yearbook. Okay? All right, now, let me teach you something. When you've got x equals minus b plus or minus big square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, this thing right here, this is called the discriminant. I don't know why it's called the discriminant. It doesn't seem like that's a good thing to be doing in these day and ages. But it is called the discriminant. Okay? What's the rule that we have on square roots? We're not allowed taking the square root of negative numbers. Do you know that? So, explain why a quadratic equation has no real solutions if the discriminant is less than 0. It's because we cannot take the square root of a negative number. Okay? So let's go back to this. If this thing is positive, then we have two real answers. If this thing is 0, then we have one real number answer. And the reason why is because we're going to do plus or minus 0, and plus or minus 0 is the same thing. And then if this thing is negative, then we have 0 real number answers. And that's because we're not allowed taking the square root of a negative yet. And then next week we get into imaginary numbers. And that's what those are. They're square roots of negatives. Thanks for listening. Boom!